Okay, this is a continuation. It's difficult to do this. I've got a coffee in one hand, which I have to drink because I'm jet lagged, and I've got to stay awake so that I get into sync. My hipag, my sister-in-law, is walking up the hill there. This land here is what I call, it's a joke, Biro Lang in the Philippines. Scotland, spelt with two T's, because my name is Newton Scott, but you cannot call it Newton Scotland, it's not so funny. So I nicknamed it Scotland, Scottland. Now what's significant here is it's mine. It's all mine. And I guess, on my estimate, is it's about a half a hectare of land. Life down here is not quite like Portugal. In Portugal, my God, you can buy land. You want to buy land in Portugal, by God, you can buy land. And after my experience here, lots of things are trying to eat me. After my experience here, I'm definitely going to buy more land. And after finding out about a thing called Diasugi, which is something I thought of years ago, I'm going to start doing Diasugi in Portugal on crappy land with like hills and stuff like that, just like they do in Japan. And I'll buy the land cheap as dirt, and I've planted up with trees for myself, future generations, and mostly for the environment, so I can restore native forest to Portugal and have income coming in off it. Holy crap, oh my God. Now, continuing on. Over here, all of this here is Scotland, right? So that's Scotland. And just over the border of Scotland on this piece of land is Romaldo, my brother-in-law's land. And there is a tree. And I have waited for years. I have waited 20 years to see this tree. Because my lovely father-in-law, he was just an amazing guy. Let me talk about him. Ano ito? Ang puno dito? Ano yan?
Ay, yung mga seedlings ng...
Seedlings ng naputang, apitong. Bili ako ang seedlings ng apitong sa tindahan. Meron dito na. Pero siguro secure sa loob ng dominio. Maka alis, kanadigan mo pa. Pwede na. So anyway, I just bought a load of bloody happy tongues, and they're selling trees, like produced them all over the place here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a swig of coffee because I'm thirsty all the time, because it's hot, and because I'm talking all the time. I am what they say, madaldal. So
because so many mosquito will bite you.
Tamang lahat ito para sa akin, para sa bahay kubo. May masyado ng kahoy. Lahat lang ito ay para sa bahay. Lahat, walang waste. Wala. Lahat sa ilalim para sa kasangkapan siguro. Sa sala. Pagkatapos, I'll grow another one. So anyway, what happened was, my father-in-law, your nanay planted this. Nanay or tatay? Sino?
Mother.
Nanay. Okay. Well, what happened was, my mother-in-law planted this tree, but my father-in-law was in on it, right? So it's like, it's ang regalo sa akin. It's like, it's the sweetest thing somebody's ever done, you know. It's just so sweet. Such a nice thing, you know, that they did this for me. Well, to say keen on boats is it's a kind of lifelong obsession of mine, boats. And I always wanted to build a boat. Not so much now, because I think I've fed the craving by having boats. I have a yacht which we'll be seeing later on when I take it out of storage. But you can see that on my old videos under my name, entering Limehouse Basin, mistakenly spelt with two N's. So I was going to build a boat, and I talked about this and all my great passion about building a boat, and I could build a boat here in the Philippines because there's lots of wood. Not entirely true. There's lots of wood, but you've got to you just got to wait for it, and wait for it. It turns up in dribs and drabs. But if you're determined, and also if you grow wood, of course, then you're sorted, So it can be done. And it's an investment that people should be making in their families and lives. So they planted this tree. And they said to the family, my father-in-law, and he was the boss, he said that tree is for David. Do not cut that tree down. And everybody said, oh, we want to cut the tree down. That tree is for David. Do not cut the tree down. And it went on and on and on. And so for 20 years, I'm sure, I must check, but for 20 years this tree's been growing. And let's scan up and have a look. I finally see her. Is it her for a tree? Look at that. It's all that wood, all the way up the top. Even the branches themselves, I will cut the branches into short sections and I'll use them all the way up the top there. I will use those branches for to make furniture. And in my mind, and this is real, this is just the way it is. This wood and this house and the things made from this tree are biyaya. They're blessed. It's blessed. Because it's just such. It's just so incredible. Let's look up into the canopy there. Biyaya. Katakataka. It seems incredible. Katakataka. Now, even the stump down at the bottom, I'm going to use it. So basically, if you imagine, Alis ka na ba? All right, makita tayo sa bahay. Makita tayo sa bahay. Oh, uwi ka ba? Oh, pupunta ako sa tindahan para sa off-lotion. Okay? Ako lang. Alam ko ang lugar, location. Maraming salamat. Sige na. Hindi ako matagal pa. Right. I won't be long. She wants to go back to the house. Flooding her, this is boring to her. She's a woman. They're not interested in things like this. So they're just not. Build a bloody house and then they'll be interested, but like what you're gonna do, they're not interested. Okay. So anyway, I'm kind of glad she's gone because like she's getting bored, and I'm free to talk as I wish, and that's it. So it's afternoon here, and the light's starting to fade a little bit. It'll be dark soon in a couple of hours, but now I've seen this beautiful tree. So what do you do? Well, how do you like gauge this thing? Well, the thing is, I will use this tree, all of it. So we're going to drop it. We'll drop it towards me here, and then we'll cut it up, and it will be cut into strips. And I'm going to do what you call star cutting, which is to cut it in two, and then you will end up with wood which has got all of the grain pointing in the. So when you cut a slice of the wood, all of the grain will be like pointing towards you. It'll mean that the wood is wedge shaped, but I'll sort that out later. There's a way to do that. But so you got all that grain pointing towards you, and the consequence of that is, as it expands and contracts with changing temperature and moisture and stuff like that, it will simply get thicker or thinner, but it won't bend and twist and warp, and that's the way out of that problem. Now, here's the $45,000 question. Is that tree big enough for me to build a house? My answer would be sort of yes. you use an incredible amount of wood. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it. I'm going to make the beams, and then I'm also going to make the cladding out of the tree. So the cladding will be thin bits of wood, you know, like not really deep. And I will. Man, I'm so itchy here. I gotta wind this video up soon, or die. I'll sort this problem out sometime later. I don't know if it's actually insects biting me or whether it's previous insects biting me and then I'm itchy because my legs are warm. I really don't know. But you gotta suck it up, man. You gotta suck it up, you know. Just get on with it. So anyway, so what you do is you imagine, where's the tree? Where's the damn tree? You imagine, is that the tree? Yes. It's quite bright. My eyes are like saturated with light all day. Okay, so what you do is when you gauge this is you look at the tree and imagine it is a roll of carpet. And you're going to roll the carpet out, but you're going to roll the carpet out and you're going to cover the walls. So is there enough carpet here to carpet the walls? Answer, yes. A definite yes. I will just get the 3 main rooms of the house done out of that. So the cladding of the ceiling will probably be done with some cheaper wood, because you're not going to be touching that and it doesn't need to be strong. So imagine you've rolled the log out like a carpet around the room. Has it done the walls? Yes. Is there enough? Definitely yes. What is underneath that? Well, it can be any old crap. But the pretty stuff, this stuff, is going to be on the front. Now, what's special about this tree? What's special about this wood? Well, I never knew what this tree was. I asked and I said, happy this and happy that and happy the other. And then I discovered, like, I finally got the name of the tree. It's called happy tongue, a couple of years ago. So I started doing some research on happy tongue and I thought, man, you're a genius, you know. What it is happy tongue is the wood. If you look at trucks, American trucks, British trucks, all kinds of trucks, if you look at the wood which is on the bottom of the truck on the floor, it's happy tongue. And why happy tongue? What's special about happy tongue? Well, happy tongue, it's got a nice look. It's a nice looking wood. It's like all tropical hardwoods. It's produced a nice brown timber that looks like mahogany or whatever. But the difference is you can beat the crap out of happy tongue. Really, really beat the crap out of it. It's hard wearing. Hence, it gets used for truck bodies, truck bottoms. So why would you pick a different tree? Why would you pick anything else? There's a tree here, it's called Yakal. It's got a density of about 1.9 to 1. And I've used it. I used it in that cabin I built in Uxbridge. And the thing about that wood is it's so bloody hard. It's a sod to work with. It's terrible. It's really, really hard. And it produces these fine shavings which you're just like living in filth when you're working with it. But this happy tongue is more reasonable. You know, it's a more reasonable specific gravity. And also, despite its lowest specific gravity, it's very hard wearing. Because remember, what you got to think about, when you get these hard trees, incredibly hard ones, they tend to crack a lot. You know, they're very intolerant of their own movement. They haven't got much give in them. So that's why things like Western red cedar, which is almost like a durable balsa wood, it's so light, has the most compliance and least tendency to crack, and therefore you use it in saunas, you know. So this is kind of the best of all worlds. I cannot think of a better wood than this. Now, I did say that in the UK, and I was butchering trees there, that sycamore is wonderful. In the UK, sycamore and beech are wonderful. I would think this is going to come out looking rather like beechwood. But I must remember to move the camera while I'm talking. Let's look at the top. Yeah, it's going to be rather like beechwood, but it's just going to have that super duper hard wearing ability, and so it should last for years. And I've got my preservation method to stop it getting attacked by termites, fungus and bacteria, which is going to wreck it. It's not going to wreck this. Probably I won't have enough to go on the outside the house, but as I previously said, that's not important. It has to look magnificent inside, because, you know, I'm trying to get myself a new wife here, and it's no good like telling the woman what you're going to do and what you're going to live in and this, that and the other. It's better to just walk into the completed house. Whilst making these videos, my lady friend just texted me, said, "Where are you, what are you doing," sort of thing. I'm having difficulty with signals here, so what I'm hoping is that when she comes up here and she sees what I've done, that she will say, "Wow." Or rather, not here, when I get the stuff cut and produced and located on Samal, then she'd be impressed. I just need to make one room. We have to have a refuge from this climate. It's a killer. It's a killer, but like if you got a nice house, Bahai Kubo, wood house, then it's all of a sudden not. Must have a swig of my coffee. I'm going to show you a tree which is interesting here. I just spotted it. I'll tell you all these things because some of you guys may want to come out here and build a house. Authentic videos. Man drinks cup of coffee while making video. Okay, these things here, they are mahogany. I'm almost certain they are mahogany trees. Mahogany, a good crop in the Philippines. But I tell you why I don't like it. First of all, is when you cut it, it's, oh look, a lovely blonde wood, and then it starts turning brown. And they talk, you know, everybody says, "Oh, mahogany's got these beautiful red hues." Well, hell's bells. I wouldn't say they're beautiful hell's red hues. It's not much. It's not much like, you know. And what happens to me, what I seem to see, is that you make a saw cut, and within a matter of a day or so, it's turning brown. Now, after a while, the mahogany turns so brown, you might as well just get any wood and just put boot polish on it. It's so bad. So I'm not impressed at all. And what I do not like about mahogany is the fact it's not native to the Philippines, and I think it's called allotoxic. What it basically does is it produces toxins to poison everything around it. There's a water catchment area near Manila which is catching water for the city and preventing floods and runoff, and they planted it up like crazy with mahogany. But ecologically it's a disaster. What they need to do with that is chop it down slowly and replace it with the other stuff. So here we go. What we got here is this thing. Little tour of Scotland. What is this? These fans, this is a palm tree, and I find it quite beautiful actually. But the purpose, why would somebody grow these palms, is to remember all the things here are actually crops. They're not here for ornamental purposes, although they are pretty. It's called an anahow, and what's special about the anahow is, like, if you think about it, that there is like a big roof tile, and so you can sort of wire them up, laying over the top of each other, and you can make an anahow roof on a Bahay Kubo, and so you got protection from the weather. So that's an incredibly cheap roof. That's the good side, and it's great, and it's fresh and lovely and beautiful to sleep under and all that. There's another anahow there. But the trouble is, it rots like crazy, so you're having to replace it pretty much by the month, you know. It doesn't last very long. So if you're up for replacing it like mad, go for it. You could treat it with a preservative and put it underneath a tin roof, and then you'd have the appearance without the without all the bother. I might think of doing that. Lots and lots and lots of coconut trees here now. I'm impressed. They've been working. You know, they've been developing this place. I don't know which is Scotland and which is no. I'm on Scotland now. I know that for sure. I remember those trees over there. They're definitely a row of mahogany trees. I would grub them out and burn them or something. Pretty much like the eucalyptus trees in Portugal. They're allotoxic as well. They poison everything around. And not only that, they actually set fire to everything. I'm planting some eucalyptus trees, but it's a native eucalyptus tree. The one native eucalyptus tree outside of Australia. It's called Eucalyptus deglupta, which is like, I think they call it the rainbow tree. It's just got all kinds of colours in the bark, like really dramatic. So I'm going to plant 6 of those because they're fast growers, and I need some wood fast for cladding purposes, but not structural. Although you could use them. We'll see. We'll see. I have to be on a project of producing fast trees to get the job started, followed up by stuff that's going to take time. So eventually I'll end up with a house that's like built out of stone. The wood will be so hard. It's an unfortunate attitude that Filipinos have towards wooden houses, that they're regarded as inferior because they are. Because they're not as strong. They're not as they're strong, not as durable, because every damn thing's trying to destroy them and eat them. Oh, by the way, the Yanahoe thing, one disadvantage of it is there was a guy, can't remember, I think he was Dutch, down by the coast over that away. Had some land, built, he put the investment in, got the workers, made a beautiful house. The kind of thing that you would see in the Maldives, you know, these rich guys' idea of a native house. And there it was, and I visited it and I had a look. And then I was coming back to Tallycut on the boat, and then I looked and I saw the house is all burnt to the ground. Now, I don't think it was arson. I thought at the time it was like some jealous person who had set fire to it. Not really. I know them now, and they wouldn't have done that. Plus the penalties legally would have been really not worth it. You spend a lot of time in jail doing that. But the damn thing had burnt to the ground. So even if it was arson, it shouldn't be able to burn. You know? Ideally you should have a house where you can douse it in gasoline, set fire to it, and the gasoline burns away. And you've got a smelly house with a bit of charring, and that's it. And I'm working on that. My idea about saturating the wood with calcium chloride is going to probably fix that, I hope. So anybody wants to experiment, try it. Get some calcium chloride solution and paint it onto wood and see what it looks like. Polish it maybe on top. Calcium chloride will permeate the wood. It'll ruin the insulation property of the wood because you're going to have so much water in it. So I'm going to have to do this and calculate the amount of water that goes into wood. But to be honest, you don't really care about insulation here. Insulation isn't necessary in the Philippines if you are not concerned with like reducing temperatures. So in other words, you're not trying to aircon the house down to a low value. I've been in houses where they're actually freezing cold. You're sitting there freezing, you know, and it's actually colder than you would find acceptable. You know, in the UK, you'd be lighting the fire or putting the central heating on. It's so damn cold. It's a very odd phenomenon. But I think the people get hot so that when they go in the cold, they don't feel it for quite a while. And it's not the answer, because the humidity just keeps coming back all the time. And it's the humidity that's doing it. There's our island transport system. Everything's transported on motorcycles or tricycles or whatever here. There are a number of Suzuki multi-cabs doing the big transporting, and I've managed to find somebody who's going to transport the wood for the house. This is amazing here. It's absolutely amazing. It was well, it was pug ugly, to be honest, before, and now it's this beautiful place, and I am not absolutely too sure that it isn't. Yes, they've planted this stuff, but you know, they grew trees before and they didn't go like this. They just didn't grow. These guys have gone crazy, these trees, and I'm convinced it's because of the CO2 levels. They're just going nuts. You know what happens with CO2? It's like you grow the trees and then you get a lot of leaf fall. You got a lot of biomass material in the forest, so that actually rots. But the carbon dioxide, because of the lack of air, you know, the slower air circulation, a lot of it gets recaptured. So it's a conservative system. It conserves the carbon dioxide, which it has already captured, and that like supercharges the system. Nobody's ever like thought this through, that the amount of rotting vegetation in the soil is helping to boost the not just the fact that it's vegetation, but also the fact that it's boosting the CO2 level for the plants. Now, I've done some searches, and there are research papers here and there, and I think it's got to be done. This experiment's got to be done with radioisotopes. But I believe that plants, I see no reason why plants would not also absorb carbon dioxide through their roots. So if the system has carbon dioxide, if there's rotting vegetation, that carbon dioxide will make its way into the tree and work its way up and be photosynthesized and supercharge the tree. And these trees are, I know, and it was here 25 years ago, supercharged and nothing different. They're not doing anything different, but the environment is supercharged here. Now, evidence for this, like root absorption, is recent discoveries that methane is being released from trees. And so, oh God, all the climate doubters and all these people in whatever, they're saying, oh, you see, look, you see, well, you know, trees release methane as well. Well, yes, they do. And the reason why is because methane is not very soluble in water. It's what you call non-polar. So it doesn't dissolve in water. But I've just made an absolute statement there, which is not true. Because although it's a non-polar molecule, it has some slight solubility in water, just a trace, and that's all you need. So it dissolves, works its way up through the tree, and is discharged from the tree, going down a diffusion gradient. It's going to happen. That's the physics. So then the methane is released, but of course you don't blame the trees, because the methane would be there anyway. So it's just discharging that which would be discharged slowly from the soil. You know, it's just managing to, in fact, it's probably doing it better because it's dissipating the methane smoothly, instead of it coming out in burps here and there, so that the atmosphere can get rid of it. It only lasts 8 years in the atmosphere before it's oxidized to CO2, but not a lot of CO2. Anyway, I think I've talked about this place as much as I possibly can, put as much in, enlightened you as much as I can about the environment and what's going on here, and how positive this is. This is moving forward. I used to come down this road. Magandang hapon, kumusta kayo? Para sa YouTube channel ko. Yeah? Kawili wili dito. Kawili dito. Subscribe ka. Ibalik ako dito mamaya. Okay? Hindi ako matagal. So, they want to know what my channel is in there. Is that not a cute trick? Is that not a cute trick? Because the nosy gets, right? So what you do is you say, oh, I'm doing this for my YouTube channel. And they say, oh, right, well, what's the name of your channel? And then they get on your channel and they poke their nose in. And of course, they're already on it because I just spoke to them. And then I'll say, oh, subscribe. And then I get subscribe. And I've got them, you know. I'm finding that the way to increase my subscribership, because I'm only at 310 at the minute, is to simply just talk to people and say, oh, I'll make videos for my channel. Oh, what's your channel, you know? Because Filipinos particularly, they just love photographing every damn thing, you know? You have a cup of coffee, let's photograph the cup of coffee you're having in the cafe, like, and we'll all get a group family photograph and send it to all the family. I saw my daughter's photo album, and honestly, oh dear God, it looks like something like CNN would have or something. It's just a vast library of photos. I conscientiously delete things that are not that good, and after I put videos up, I clear them out of my phone because I'm fearful that I might burn my memory. So maybe I have a capacity much higher than I thought. I must check it out. Anyway, I'm going to go to the shop now and I'm going to buy some off lotion. So you walk down this road here, this road which used to be a load of stones and horrible, and have my nice sojourn here down towards the shop and get my stuff, my off lotion, to get rid of the damn mosquitoes. Oh, by the way, there's a phenomenon occurring which happens about this time of day. It's getting towards the end of the day. It's 4:30. You know, what is it? It's 5:30 now. What's going on? Well, what happens is, ironically, it starts to get a bit cooler. And it gets cooler. There used to be a lake down there. It must be a source of all the mosquitoes around here. I told them to put some fish in it. It's just a sort of flooding lake, you know. Yeah, so it cools down, and yet you think, oh my God, Jesus Lord, it's getting so hot. I'm gonna die. My skin is gonna explode, and it's just like you've just suddenly been plunged into hell. And what it is because the place cools down, the relative humidity really just soars. The capacity that the air has to absorb moisture soars. So there is zero capacity for the air to absorb any more moisture from your breath, which you're losing heat by breathing in and breathing out, and also from your skin by sweating, and you are screwed, and then suddenly you just boil. But as I say, I'm walking down the road, so that helps. The tall European body, bigger body, has a different surface area to volume ratio to some small guy like this guy walking towards me. So he's got like about 4 times better surface area to volume ratio than me. And the consequence of that is he can just sit down, and his natural cooling will keep him cool, and he'll be just fine. And he'll be thinking, well, heat? What heat? It's not hot. This is not hot. And probably not to him. Magandang hapon po. Yeah. Sige na. I have to say po, which means sir. Because I think he's older than me. The tradition here is like, you just say sir. So it's sort of, if you think about saying sir, hello sir, how are you sir? Can I have some beer sir, or what, you know, that would be how you'd say it in English. But what you do in Tagalog is you just say po, P-O. which is the equivalent of saying sir or madam, depending on who you're talking to. All this gender issue, they don't care about in the Philippines because they never had it in the first place. They use a term before you say a name, like my nephew Mark, I'll say, Sansi Mark, where is Mark, you know? And C is just like a marker that goes before a personal noun. So, C Mark. And my sister-in-law, Sansi Luzminda. Where's Luzminda? C again. So, you don't know whether the person you're talking about is male or female. But it's fairly obvious because the you know, the name is like Luzminda is not Mark, and it's obvious that one of them is a male and the other one's not. And if there was any ambiguity, you would simply say man or woman, lalaki or babae. Now this is interesting, and this is a really good find. Oh my god, oh my god. You see, you never know. You have your plans, and here comes serendipity. Because what have I just found? This here is a grove or whatever of bamboo, and that's ripe for cutting. And why would I be interested in that? Because it's cheap as shit. And over there, oh my god, I just hit the jackpot here. And over there, not that one, but these bamboos here, that one and that one over there, they're called Gua-dua bamboo. They're actually from I think it's Brazil, and it's rated as the strongest bamboo in the world, so everybody grows it for that. Not that it really matters big time, because all bamboos are off the scale strong. They're about 2.5 times as strong as the equivalent wood. I've seen Gua-dua with bags of cement on it, spanning a 12-foot span, supporting a bag of cement, no, not a bag of cement, a whole pallet of cement bags. And I thought, if I hadn't seen it, I wouldn't have believed it. You would think there was a steel pole mounted inside of it. It's incredible stuff. So there is a grove of bamboo, and there's like a really big one there. So here's the thing, right? All I have to do is find out the owner of this land, which is obviously that guy over there. Not like Portugal, where you don't know who the hell owns what. I'll go over there and I'll simply say Makabili ko ang bamboo mo, and then he'll just say oh, which will be an immediate yes, and then slam, it's mine, and I can buy as much of that stuff as I like. And I just say Makano, how much? And then they will be loading the trucks going up that road there, and it's like, it's so easy to work with. It's just because when it's fresh, you know, it just cuts like butter. And so it's rather like, I don't know, working with a what you call it, cucumbers, like slicing cucumbers. It's that easy. So there you go. I think we should end on that. Yeah. So I've just acquired a massive load of bamboo, which I can now use for cladding inside the house if I run out of it. I've got all the structural material from that apitong and some cladding, and remember I've got to do the floor as well, and cross beams on the floor and everything, so quite a lot to be done. So all in all, not too bad. Anyway, makita tayo sa kana. See you again another day, in this case tomorrow probably, and atilago, and Jesus be with you.